The silver bullet mentality is extremely common within the minds of beginners to health and fitness. If you're one of those people, then your heart is in the right place. You want to get in better health and you want to feel better, but your mind isn't. If your goal is to look and feel better, then we're going to have to change how you think about your health and fitness. What is up, people? Jean Carlos here with the Total Body Training Podcast, where I help people get lean, gain muscle, and build some damn confidence. And today's topic is silver bullet mentality. All right, let's get started with this one. All right, here is, my thinking here. I'll be using my notes as usual, and here we go. All right, we have a tendency to resolve our issues in an easy way. Or we have a tendency, I should say, to want to resolve our issues in an easy way. And there really isn't anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting an easy solution to our problems, right? After all, if there's an easier way to do something, why not go with that route? In anything in life, right? Why go with the most difficult option? What is also simultaneously true is that to accomplish anything in life, it's going to take time and it's going to take effort. And your health and your fitness is one of those things that takes time and takes effort. It's something that you're going to have to continuously progress on and continuously try to improve. You can't just fix it by doing one or two little things. Our culture teaches us that we can get these things, we can get healthy quickly and easily. So it's not entirely your fault. That's something that's built into the narrative of our culture. If you're standing in line at the grocery store and looking at some magazine, maybe it's like a Cosmo or Shape or one of these magazines, Men's Health or Fitness, you'll see all these things that say stuff, or there are advertisements for gyms that say things like 30-day rapid fat loss, 10-minute abs. Kale is the new superfood. Here was one that I really liked. Look what happens when Gwyneth Paltrow drank a gallon of water every day for 2 months. She looks younger and her skin is glowing and all this stuff. And, eating kale, it'll help you. And working out your abs 10 minutes a day will definitely help you, but you're not necessarily going to get 10 minutes. You're not going to get abs in 10 minutes. And 30-day rapid fat loss, there's some truth to that, but you might be crash dieting if you're going through that process. And so, the reality of this is that there's a little bit of truth to all of these statements. The idea of a 30-day rapid fat loss or, 10 minutes abs or kale being the superfood, there is some truth to that. However, in order to improve your overall health, you're going to need to think and look at the bigger picture. So really look at the macro versus the micro. People will latch on to drinking a gallon of water because Gwyneth Paltrow did it, but not change anything else that they're doing in their life. And in order to really see some good results in your life, you're going to want to make some big changes. You're going to want to make sure that the whole picture of what you're doing is doing well. Now, I'm going to get to taking baby steps in a few minutes, so I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by what I'm saying, so stick with me, all right? I'll explain how you can take big steps, how you can take little steps for your big picture, all right? Now, most people, if you're on my channel, I don't really have people who are trying to squat 1,000 pounds. I don't think anybody who's crazy on here and wants to be the next USPA champion or anything like that. What I think I mostly have, my demographic here, is people who just want to feel better and want to, be a little bit more fit, look a little bit better, feel more comfortable in a bikini or feel more comfortable wearing their clothing, right? Feel good in whatever they wear and feel better, feel sharper, feel more energized, lessen their depression. That's my demographic here. So, for people like that, the big picture is this. You're going to want to focus on these 5 things. And the first one is eating healthy most of the time. So if you're wanting to get fit, you want to get healthy, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to eat healthy most of the time. And people really underestimate what most of the time means. Most of the time means pretty much most of your meals 7 days a week, with the exception of maybe the cheat meal here and there, or the snack or something here and there. Just making sure that you're not overdoing it on those things. You're not having too much ice cream, But, giving yourself the freedom to have that every now and then. Focusing on making healthier food choices, things like that. Finding a nutrition plan that works for you. Finding the right thing that works for you, something that's sustainable, I think is something that's really important when it comes to eating healthy most of the time. Because if your goal is to lose weight, you're going to need to find a nutrition plan or a diet that's going to work for you and your needs right now, and something that's honestly sustainable. So that's what I mean by eating healthy most of the time. And where this gets a little bit tricky is that people eat healthy 5 days a week, maybe, and then they'll completely eat whatever for like the whole weekend. And if it's an extended weekend, it could be like up to like 3 days of like eating like whatever comes their way. So like just eat healthy most of the time, find a plan that works for you, and that's like a big picture thing. And that's something you're gonna wanna do as consistently as possible. Now, the next one is, and I know this one's boring, but it's important, y'all, getting proper sleep. I can't tell you how important sleep is because it regulates your hormones, it regulates your mood, it regulates your motivation, because the hormones that you produce while you're sleeping, which mostly get produced while you're sleeping, get regulated while you're sleeping, so that will affect your motivation. A lot of people, and this is my opinion and my experience, is that like sometimes like stress and anxiety in my own personal life is because I wasn't getting the proper amount of sleep. So feeling like shit for days on end will make you irritable and will make you make choices and think a certain way that isn't always accurate. So making sure that you get proper sleep is scientifically important, right? We can't change that. And I know there's this like theory, especially like within my space of like business owners and stuff, that you've got to grind till you die and things like that. You still got to find time to sleep. You still got to find some time to get proper rest. Now, what does that look like? Well, that's like 7 to 8 hours if possible. Some people can operate on less. I don't know how, because scientifically we're supposed to get about 7 to 8. But if you can do that, like people like Gary Vaynerchuk or Arnold Schwarzenegger claim to sleep considerably less, specifically Arnold. Arnold is always claiming he sleeps like next to no time. But I would say that the majority of people don't have that. Most of us need some rest. That's just the way that we're built, man. Like, that's our biology. We need rest in order to operate more efficiently, all right? So rest is important, getting proper sleep. Exercising, at least 5 days a week. You could do 3 days a week. I would prefer to see you do 5 days a week, or that you get movement 6 to 7 days a week. This is important. Sometimes people will think that like exercising is kind of like a luxury, or that it's this like added thing that you don't really need to do as a human. And here's the truth. The truth is that we evolved to move. We evolved hunting, and we evolved gathering, and we evolved doing things in like tribal communities where we were processing food and making it ourselves. Everything was really hands-on, and now we just don't move. So that's why we need exercise. We need to go for the occasional walk, or we need to move around, because nowadays we're not doing any of that work. The average person is sitting at a desk, or is sitting for extended period of times, or just standing at a job, not really doing a lot of vigorous movement. And so it's something that's a part of our biology. It's a part of our nature to need to move. We're not meant to sit still and to always work in the same situation, right? We're meant to work and to move. And so that's why exercising is just as important as brushing your teeth or taking a shower. Exercising is crucial. Now, you don't have to be at the gym for 3 hours. You don't have to do that. You don't have to go that bodybuilding route. Not that there's anything wrong with that, unless you want to do that. That's cool too. But you definitely need to move. So exercising 5 days a week would be stupendous, but if you start with 3, that's okay. All right? Now, your mental health. Checking in with your damn self. This one is crucial. You can have, if your mind isn't in the right place, if you're thinking constantly like negative thoughts, if you're not growing as a person, if you're not checking in with yourself, if you're not making sure that you're thinking correctly, if you're not growing as a human, then your mental capacity, okay, your mental health might be a little bit off. How do I mean? There have been times in my life when I've personally struggled a lot with anxiety, and it's because I wasn't thinking correctly. Okay? I could say that, I think that some people in my situation might be tempted to say there was something wrong with me in that situation, but I don't believe that. I feel that one of the ways that I was able to fix that anxiety is by checking in with myself and seeing what's true and seeing what's not. And, reading a lot of self-growth literature, reading books like The Obstacle is the Way or The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, are books that really kind of edified me to make sure that my mental health was in the right place and that I was thinking correctly about life. Now, I do know that there are some people who do have mental health issues, and those things are biological and genetic. There are also situations where that's not the case, where people are stressed out or maybe they're feeling awful because they're not thinking correctly, because they're not checking in with themselves, because they're getting in this woe is me kind of mentality. And so I think that it's really important for you to check in with what your mind is doing, how you're thinking, how you're talking about yourself, what you're saying about other people. I think that's really crucial. So making sure that you edify yourself with good literature, I believe will help your mental health. Making sure that your eating and your dieting is on point, making sure that your sleep will also help keep your mental health sharp. I think making also, which is the next thing, is interpersonal relationships. This is the final point here, is that making sure that your interpersonal relationships are good, that you don't have toxic relationships with people, that you don't have the nagging girlfriend or boyfriend who is pulling you down, or that you're not the nagging girlfriend or boyfriend, or that you're not making expectations out of other people, right, that are unfair to them, and that you're not expecting things out of them that's unfair to them and unfair to you, right? Because when you make false expectations out of other people, really that's a damaging thing for yourself. So making sure that you've got solid relationships with your friends and with your family, and that those friends and family are healthy for you, that they're not people that are pulling you down, that they're people that are on board with you, is something that's really, really important. I believe that if you've got these 5 things in check, that your overall health will be better. Now, how does this, relate to the silver bullet mentality? People will say that you can take, that if your sleep is off, they'll say, if you take vitamin B12 or you get these B12 shots, it'll solve your sleeping issues and you'll have more energy. Well, maybe you'll have a little bit more, but maybe we're just putting a Band-Aid over the problem by taking this vitamin B12. I believe you're putting a Band-Aid. I think that you've got to get the more rest, right? In order for your body to even process that. In terms of eating healthy, maybe you've got a diet that's filled with a ton of processed food. And you hear that kale is a superfood and that kale is going to help you. All right. Now, kale isn't like Superman. All right. While kale is healthy, it's not like Superman in the sense that it's not going to float into your diet and float into your life and solve all the other things that you're eating that aren't so well. I'm not telling you if you're eating processed foods all the time, or if you're eating kind of shitty, that eating kale isn't going to benefit you. What I'm saying is that if you've got the silver bullet mentality and you think that eating kale will save you and it'll solve the issue, then we might want to reconsider this and we might want to look at the bigger picture. That kale isn't going to save you. The, smoothies, the healthy smoothies or whatever, that protein shake or the creatine, whatever, isn't going to save you. It doesn't work that way. We want to make sure that we're looking at the whole picture. Are we eating well? Are we sleeping properly? What's going on in our lives? Now, I know that I'm going to get this objection, and people are going to say, well, Jean, I don't have the time for that. I just want to look sexy for this weekend trip that I've got coming up with the girls in Vegas. Or with the guys, whatever. Look, while there's nothing wrong with wanting to look sexy and wanting to look great for that weekend in in Vegas, there is something wrong with how we're going about getting there. Thinking that and I'll be blunt, thinking that if I'll wear this waist trainer and drink nothing but green juice for a month before this trip, that's going to solve the issue. And it might help, right? It might help if you do those things a little bit. You should be maybe eating things that are a little bit more green. What I want to encourage you to do is to try to find a way to make these things sustainable so that you look better and you feel better year-round, so that you don't feel like you're yo-yoing through your life, right? So that you're not looking constantly for that one thing to fix your problem, because you'll spend a life looking for that one thing, that one silver bullet. You'll spend a life thinking that you need to find the next superfood, or that you need to try the next kind of fitness exercise that's out there. There really isn't one way to fix that. We've got to look at the bigger picture. I promise you, if you do this, you're going to see some huge changes in your life. Now, they're not gonna happen overnight. It won't be quick, but you're gonna feel and look the best that you ever have if you can make this a part of your life, if you look at the big picture and you stop looking for the silver bullet. All right, people, thank you so much for tuning in to the Total Body Training Podcast today. Until next time, peace.